Christopher Reeves said, "Once you choose hope, anything's possible."
Hello everyone and welcome to Blind Beauty. I'm Jennifer. What we are going to do today is I'm going to talk about travel beauty. You know, because some people want to take trips, they want to go places, they want to do things. But they're like, okay, I want to take some makeup, but I don't know what to take. So I thought I'd share some do's and don'ts for travel beauty, because there are so many things that people will take and then they have a mess on their hands and they're like, why didn't I think of that, you know, later. So why not be prepared ahead of time and have some idea of what you can or can't, or shouldn't, rather, not can't, because you could figure out a way to do it, you know, take. So we're going to jump on in here and we're going to talk about all different aspects of makeup here, whether it's foundation, primer, eyeshadows, mascaras, blush, bronzer, all that stuff. So let's jump on in and we'll even talk about a little bit of skincare as well. Now, whenever you're talking primer, for example, you know, it's better, and this is a tip that goes throughout the entire thing, if you have a choice to take a sample size, like if you subscribe to Ipsy, Birchbox, Allure, those are the ones that I know for sure do a lot of sample size products. I believe I got this one from Allure. It's the Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer. I mean, it's a fairly small size. You can see where in this bag here, it'll easily fit in there, you know, because it's a small size. I even have a little area here that it would fit in very nicely. So, you know, I mean, you gotta think about that too. You know, I could have shown you, you know, everything in the bag for both of these, but I thought just show you different things here. Now, this is one thing that I would put in my bag, like I said. Boom. A full-size product like this Dr. Brent Luminizing Primer Pores No More, I mean, you can see where that would take up quite a bit more space than the Hourglass one. Okay, so that is a good travel-friendly product. Now then, let's talk foundations. Whenever you're going out on a trip or whatever, you want to have different options depending on how long you're going to be gone. So one thing I would suggest here is having one foundation that is a more medium coverage foundation, and this is the CoverGirl Ready Set Gorgeous Foundation right here. And this is a squeeze tube. It is a plastic tube, and I recommend using a plastic tube rather than a glass, because if you here, this would break. You know, you got luggage, they're throwing your luggage around. A glass bottle, especially this size glass bottle, is more likely to break than this here. I mean, I can squeeze and squeeze and squeeze on this, put pressure on this, and as long as it's not a huge amount of pressure, it's not going to explode in my bag. You know, I have had some things explode, but that was because I accidentally sat on them and made them explode that way. But, you know, but a glass bottle is more likely to break. So that is a definite no-no, especially for foundation. But the CoverGirl Ready Set Gorgeous, it would go in the bag. And then right here, we're going to jump on into concealers. Now, one I do not recommend is something that has like a pop top to it, like the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind, for example, right here. This has one of those pop caps to it, where it would be very easy to lose the lid, especially if it gets jostled around a whole lot. The lids are more likely to pop off than, say, a screw lid. Now, this is, I believe, a glass bottle, but it's so small, it's not as dangerous. This is the e.l.f. HD concealer. But that's another tip in general. If you have the choice between something that pops off or unscrews, go with the unscrewed, because that is not as likely to come open and create a mess. So the e.l.f. HD, it would go in my bag. And then we're going to jump on into contour and whatnot here. Now, it depends on what you like for that. Now, something small like this e.l.f. one right here, this is a good one, right here. This is a really good option for if you just want your basic blush and contour, and you don't care about highlight, you know, or you want to use an eyeshadow that you have as a highlight. Another good option is the Forever Nude Sculpt and Glow palette by BH Cosmetics. I used it on my face today. It's got your contours, your blush, your highlight, a setting powder, all that stuff, all in one palette. And it's not the smallest in the world, not as small as, like, say, the e.l.f. contouring palette or illuminating palette, but it is still a good option. And the e.l.f. palettes are good as well because, you know, you can swap out items in those, they pop out, so that is a good option. One thing I would avoid doing is using a big, bulky palette. Now this is the Makeover Essentials Contour Kit right here. Now this here, yes, it does have different shades to it. It has 6 different shades as well. But the issue is it's so big and bulky. I mean, look at that compared to the BH Cosmetics. I mean, that's a big difference there. So you're not as likely to be able to fit this anywhere as you are the BH Cosmetics. Let me show you up against this bag that I had here. Like right here's the bag. I mean, it would take up practically the inside of the bag. I mean, that's a lot of space for one item. But this could be used on face, eyes, all of it, as well as the BH Cosmetics can. So, you know, but that is an option. I put the BH Cosmetics one in this bag here. And then we'll talk about powder real fast, because powder is something that if you have combination oily skin or you really want your makeup to set and stay all day, you really need a powder product. Now a good one here is the L'Oreal True Match powder. Now that is what I would consider a take along, because, you know, whenever you first buy it, at least you've got a little sponge at the bottom, which I prefer to use a brush, but that's my personal preference. And you do have a mirror on it as well. You know, so you've got your product, you got a mirror, all that, all in one. That is what I consider a good thing. You know, any product that has a mirror is a good thing. Now, one thing I do not suggest, and I do have 2 different options to show you here because they are both no-nos. Yeah, that is the loose powders, like the AOA Perfect powder, Perfect Setting Powder, or the Coty Airspun. These both are not the best thing. The Coty Airspun especially, it pops open rather than just screwing on. Now the AOA Studio, it actually does unscrew, but it still can be a mess if it really gets jostled around a lot. I mean, you don't want powder over everything. I mean, I just opened up that Coty Airspun for a second, and that's what happened to my bag. I mean, if it lightly comes open, you would have a huge mess inside your bag. And that's not what any of us want for our makeup bag whenever we are traveling, because then you've really got a mess on your hands. You got to clean everything up. No, that you don't want that. Now, let's move back on to eyes here. One thing I would suggest is, and this works for blushes, highlights, contours, anything. If you have a Z palette like this is one by Ofra. Mine's a mess because, you know, yeah. But this is one by Ofra. It's got a couple blushes in here. It's got some eyeshadows. It's got a banana setting powder. That's just one example of something that you could do if you have a Z palette. You can have different options available, and it's magnetic, which does help keep it closed. So something like that, a magnetic palette, it doesn't have to be by the brand Z palette. Ofra has them. Coastal Scents has them. I think, yeah, Coastal Scents has them. And shopmissa.com has them, but they're not $1 items like most of their products are. But this right here is a good travel-friendly product. Yes, it would take up most of the bag, but if you have your eyeshadows, your blush, your highlight, your contour, all that in here, then it's not that big a deal. You know, so something like this is a great option for traveling because, like I said, it does stay closed better. Now, another option for eyeshadows as well is to go ahead and just take something neutral, like this Wet n Wild Walking on Eggshells palette right here. Okay? Or the e.l.f. Matte for Matte, or some other type of palette that has multiple shades to it and multiple depths, but is still neutral. Now, if you wanted to add color to it, you could always take an individual shadow, whether it's a L'Oreal Infallible or a Shop Miss A AOA Wonder Baked product or whatever. You know, that gives you more options. Now, one thing I do not recommend is using a big palette, a big bulky palette. This right here is the Meet Matte Nude palette. You know, you could do it, it does work, but it takes up so much space. So for me, I would be using one or both of these. In this bag here, I'm just going to put the Wet n Wild one just because it is a more basic palette. And for a highlight, I would use the BH Cosmetics Sculpting Glow for my highlight on the eyes. And I've got powder from that Cody Airspun all over me here. But I mean, we've covered your primer, your foundation, your concealer, your powder, your eyeshadow. Now, let's move on to mascara. Now, mascara, like I've said before, if you can choose a sample size, this is the Stila, unfortunately it's really hard to see this, Stila Huge mascara is the sample size I have compared to the CoverGirl Peacock Flare mascara. I recently did a review on this, but I mean, you can see the size difference there. So I would take the Stila mascara. You know, that is a good option. Now, eyeliner, pretty much any pencil eyeliner would work. You could, and brows, almost any pencil brow product will work. But eyeliners, they can get rather bulky. I mean, or odd shaped, like this is the Wet n Wild Mega Liner. This would still work, but it might be a little more difficult to get in the bag. So, and I would not recommend using like a gel liner unless you want to make sure you have the brushes to go with it. And some people, that's fine. You know, but for me, I prefer to just stick with a liquid liner or a pencil liner because it does make it a little easier to travel with. Now, another thing that you might need is some kind of a base for your eyeshadow. And this is the e.l.f. Aqua Molten Liquid eyeshadow. Now, this makes a great base, in my opinion. I would use this instead of using a pencil like this. This is the LA Colors eyeshadow or jumbo eye pencil. You know, this right here, you're more likely to lose the lid and have a mess on your hands in the bag. That's why using the e.l.f. one, the Molten Liquid eyeshadow, or any kind of just regular primer like the Essence I Love Stage Primer or the Maybelline Master Prime Primer, or even your concealer on the lids, that can also work as a base. So, you know, I highly recommend using these. And I like to use those sometimes just as a quick eyeshadow anyway. So, you know, but now let's talk about lips for a moment. My favorite thing to do is have like a liquid lip item in my bag. This is by Dirty Little Secrets DLS. It's in the shade Phantom. It's not what I have on my lips right now. Right now I have Siren and Scarlet by Maybelline. But if you were to take a regular lipstick, again, it's a pop cap. I can't tell you how many times I've had a lipstick like this in my purse, and whoops, the lid comes off, and then you got lipstick everywhere in the purse. You know, that's where using something like this, that's a liquid lipstick, it's a little bit better, and it doesn't come open as easy. So that right there is the lipstick. Now let's discuss skincare for a moment, because that does go on with the foundation as well. Now with skincare, you can choose all sorts of different options that they have out there, but I would recommend using a sample size product for that as well. Instead of carrying, say, a huge bottle of something, like, and this isn't that huge of a bottle, but like the Simple Hydrating Gel Cream, something like that. I mean, notice how big the bottle is. You could carry something more like a sample size in transit camera close-up. You know, that is where sample boxes or whatever are handy, because you do get samples. You can also get samples at Ulta. I believe if you have enough points, Sephora does it too, I've heard. Now, I haven't ever gotten the samples from Sephora. I've gotten a few from Ulta, but they were like single-use items, not 3 or 4 use items usually. But another option here is take your foundation, like I showed the Ready Set Gorgeous foundation. You take that and mix it in with your primer, and there you go. You pretty much got your, or not your primer, but your moisturizer. You got a tinted moisturizer right there. You know, that saves you from having to carry another tinted moisturizer or BB cream with you for light coverage or no coverage day. So something like this, awesome! Go for it. Now, let's talk about brushes for a moment. I mean, yes, you can carry full-on, full-size brushes. I mean, this bag that I have here, it even has slots for them. But I would recommend getting brushes that can do multiple things. Not just do powder or just do lid color, but do lid color, crease color, all of it in one. Now, one thing I love, and y'all have seen me use many times, are my Eco Tools brushes. They're double-ended. It's a duo set where you get 2 brushes, which has 2 ends to them, and it's 4 brushes. That's a great little set because it is multitasking. You can use it to do an entire eye look. Another option is to use like even a brush like this by Real Techniques, their bronzer brush. This will work for doing your contour, your blush. You know, you could even do it for your highlight if you wanted to. But I would not recommend, now you could do it if you wanted to, really, but I would not recommend taking a big old paddle brush like this, because it is so big and bulky. I mean, look at how wide that thing is. I mean, compared to, say, let's grab a different face brush. Well, let's just do this. I mean, yeah, that's fluffy right there, but it would, you know, go down easier and all that. I mean, it's whatever you prefer. I mean, everything is what you prefer. Now, contouring, that brush I showed you will contour, but one that's also great for doing everything is the e.l.f. bronzing brush. It looks like this right here. It's a $2 brush. It has a slant tip where you can do your contour, you can put on some blush, you can do some highlight, whatever you want to with this brush. Now this is what I used in my recent face video that I did, and I don't know if it's up yet when this goes up, but if it is, I'll try to link to it below. But, you know, some people might even use a brush like this to contour, and it would work, but you can tell the difference is size. Size matters when traveling. It really does. Now, if you can get a decent travel brush set, go for it. Honestly, I have not found a really good travel brush set that is still on the market. I found some by You Can Be at one point that were awesome brushes, but unfortunately, Amazon doesn't carry them anymore. I don't trust Amazon for beauty products that I can use on my channel anymore because things that I find that are cheap aren't always there. But that right there pretty much is, you know, what I would recommend for the products. Now, if you wanted to take a toner or something like that, you could put it in a little spray bottle or other kind of bottle and take it. You know, you could even take sample size hair products to do your hair. The little spray bottles, little travel spray bottles you can get from Walmart, Dollar Tree, Target, wherever. Those make great items for putting, say you're wanting to take a setting spray with you. Well, grab you one of those bottles and do it. You want to take a sea salt spray with you. Grab one of those little bottles. Do it. I mean, usually you can get like 2 or 3 anywhere. Dollar Tree, Walmart, wherever. For like $3. Or not $3, a buck, rather. So, I mean, there are options to make things more travel friendly where you're not taking a crap ton of stuff. So, that right there is my travel friendly makeup, beauty, tips and tricks and whatnot. So, I do hope that you enjoyed it, and I do hope that you hit that subscribe button, because if this look is not up right now, it will be coming soon. I did an eye video where I did the eye look, and then I did a face video where I did the face. So, I do hope that you subscribe for that. And also follow me on Facebook for my beauty playtime, or makeup playtime rather, every Thursday at 11 a.m. As well as my Twitter, because I try to live tweet every Wednesday night during Law & Order Special Victims. I live tweet. So, I do hope that you join me over there, as well as follow me on Instagram and Snapchat. And I look forward to getting to know you, and comment down below and let me know what you thought of this. You know, let me know some of your travel tips and tricks for beauty. And also, what are some of your absolute favorites that you have to take with you whenever you travel? I would love to know. Because, who knows? Maybe I'll find something new to try. You know, eventually, whenever I can afford to do so. But, you know, I do hope that you do subscribe and that we can get to know each other, because together, we can make beauty accessible. Thank you so much for watching, and you have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like this video. My top 5 videos linked below are New Maybelline City Mini Palette Review and Demo, What's in My Purse, Garnier Argan Oil and Cranberry Extract Review, Get Ready With Me Easy Natural Drugstore First Video, Styling My Short Bob.